Hi everyone, it's Tiffany Sharp. Merry Christmas. Today is Christmas Day, the 25th, and I have the prompt for the Winter Journal Challenge, which is hosted by Kia Creates. Thanks, Kia, for inviting me to participate in this challenge once again this year. I've been having a lot of fun creating each day in my journal. So let me just do a quick flip through of what I have so far. I'll show you a close-up of this one. I love how this turned out. I just used watercolor to paint these, and the vase is cut out and the flowers are a sticker, but everything else here is painted and drawn to look like a bookshelf. So that one was fun. And I had this from, I believe, last year when I helped create the Warm and Cozy set with April. And that paint set is pretty much what I used for this, for the colors in this journal, for any like watercolor type of things that I've been doing, which I'm loving because it's got like, here's my festive sticker soup page, and it's just stickers. I believe these were from Amazon a few years ago. I know when my kids were little, they used to send these magazines, and there were some stickers that I had kept for years and years, and I was like, oh, finally a chance to use them. And then some of the pages are printouts from Jessie Peterson. Jessie has a monthly group that you can join, and you get printables, you get idea pages, like worksheets, and they're for art journaling, and it's a lot of fun. I always love her. I love her images and just the stuff that she puts together. This joy is from there, and this cute skier. I put gesso back here because Jessie did something with this skier and gesso, and I was like, oh my gosh, that just looks so realistic. The snow, using gesso for snow is just amazing. So I had a lot of fun with that. I have a lot of stuff from Megan Quinlan, from Megan Quinlan Studio. Those are the stencils. These are stencils from Megan. And so are these. I'm planning on doing some journaling, but I didn't want to do it quite yet. This is going with my seasonal self-care page. And then I'm just going to do some journaling about the self-care that I've been doing, which mostly consists of like getting my dentist appointments and getting on the treadmill finally, and taking my vitamins and supplements, that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm gonna write about. This is a fun page. And so yeah, I like how each prompt goes on for 2 days, because then I get like 2 chances to do the same prompt. I really like that idea. And it's not like an overwhelming number of prompts. Frosted Fantasy, this was a Megan Quinlan stencil, and I just love how that one came out. So, oh yeah, this is a printable from Jessie and Megan's. And then this is just something that I made. I've been working on some things too. Like I do some things as well. So this is something that I've been working on. I got a bunch of like phrases and stuff that kind of are more geared towards New Year, but they're like encouraging words and phrases that I thought would be fun. And I really liked the background, and I liked how the greens kind of all went together. I feel like there's a couple of pages where I've been doing like all greens and getting that monochromatic look, and I do love that. Oh, this is from Collage Soup. I love using Collage Soup for my journals. Their images are so cute. This is from the Snow Biz book, if you want to know. some watercolor artwork and stuff from my classes, my watercolor mugs class and my winter celebration class. And then I have these, which are from a paper pack, you know, like scrapbook paper. Basic gray, I believe, is what it was. So anyway, that's what I have so far. I'm starting to work on some other pages, but you can tell they're not finished. But I do like to start out. Oh, this was actually from Thanksgiving, but I decided, thankful can happen at any time of the year. So I decided to put that there. I like to pre-prep some of my pages. These are Megan's stencils too. So they're not like totally planned out, but I do have a few things that I've put on here just to make it like inviting. Oh, so this is a sneak peek of something that's coming up that this will be available next month at Joggles. So it's some designs that I've been working on with Joggles, and that's just like a sneak peek of one of my rice papers that I was able to design for them. So that'll be something fun coming up in January. That's a collage soup image, collage soup. I printed those out from one of their ebooks. Okay, so that's what I have so far to work with. And okay, today is Christmas, and I am only up to, well, so not today in real life, it's not Christmas, but I'm only up to the 16th here. So I'm going to leave some room. So let's say this is 17th, 18th, 19th. I'm going to skip a couple pages. 20th, 21, 22, 23. Let's make 24 this page or this page. Okay, so 24, 25, sorry. Okay, let's count this right. Christmas is on the 25th. Am I 25? Yeah, 25. Christmas paper quilt. And I chose this prompt because I love quilts. I love making quilts. I love using quilts. And I actually have 2 actual quilts that are Christmassy that I have made. And I just love Christmas quilts. I think they're a lot of fun. And yeah, I kind of miss my quilting days. So I thought, let's do the paper quilt. That's a fun prompt. Here's what I'm thinking. I've got grid paper because I always, I'm going to show you last year's journal because this has fabrics that I used for my Christmas quilt. I used it for the binding fabric of my journal last year. The cover is a door that's like a Tim Holtz chipboard thing. But I thought that was fun. I just wanted to show you, like, there's just all kinds of ways to make quilts and ways to use leftover quilting fabric. But I do know that not everybody sews. So I thought the paper quilt was a really fun and an interesting idea. And I also thought, like, I love scrappy quilts. So I tried to gather pieces of scraps that I have from working in the journal so far. And graph paper. I always start out my quilts with graph paper. Even when I buy a quilt design, like a quilt pattern, I end up, most of the time I end up designing my own at some point. At some point, I end up like ditching the pattern and making up my own. And I think it's fun. I mean, I'm one of those people that likes math. So I do like to do a little bit of math and figure out like the sizes of squares that I need and add all the seam allowances and all of that stuff. But for a paper quilt, it's going to be much easier. Here, I'm going to do this because it's a little annoying. It's going to be a little easier. I'm just going to so I'm going to make a pocket because wouldn't it be fun to make a quilt pocket and then stuff somebody in there so it looks like they're sleeping under the quilt, right? It took me a really long time to think about what I wanted to do. And actually designing this on paper turned out to be, it was hard for my brain to like shift to what I needed to do on paper. You would think that it would be easier, but no, for some odd reason it was harder. So I've got, here's like all these scraps I have. I don't want to use paper that's too thick, but I do have all of these letters and I'm not going to use a bunch of these letters. So maybe if I could get a square out of them, which might be more difficult than I'm thinking because some of these are on a diagonal, but it might be okay. So here's basically the size I want. And all I have to do is just cut and glue, right? Like that should make a pretty nice scrappy quilt. I don't want to make it too difficult because I think that's what I tried to do. I was like, let's make a Christmas star and blah, blah, blah. And the cutting of it was extremely difficult. Yeah, so this is one of them that I tried to cut. And I was like, why am I trying to make shapes that are just extremely difficult? Because I tried to do this before. So I'm going to simplify. And maybe I'll just cut out a bunch of squares that are really nice and straight. So what I have to do is use a trimmer perhaps. But here's the thing, because it's paper and because I have it on this background, I don't have to make these exact. Wish I had a smaller paper trimmer. I don't need to make them totally perfect because I can overlap and whatnot, right? I'm thinking that should work. So maybe I'll just cut a ton of these things out and then like get a pile and then see what I have. Or you know what, actually, when I make quilts, I do kind of like to make strips of different sizes like that. So I might do that. Take all the straight pieces and then just lay them all out like so. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna start that way. All right, so there's just gonna be a lot of cutting here. I'll probably just fast forward this. Okay, I got everything cut out. These are the pieces that are either diagonal or curved. So I'll just hang on to these just in case I need them. And then I have my clipboard here of scrap paper that I like to use. I made this for Collage Connect with Jack Ravi last year, and I am finding it so handy. Oh, here, let me give you a full view. It's just a clipboard that I collaged onto the back of, and then on the front I just keep, like, you know, papers that I printed on one side and I don't need to keep, and I use it to glue things on, and it just makes a really nice nice area to use for my glue stick. And also I get to use up some, you know, like scrap paper, so that's always nice. I like to make use out of things and not just throw them away. All right, so really, I don't know if you guys are familiar with scrap quilts, but I've seen where people will just have scraps like this, only in fabric form, and then they'll throw it in a bag, and then they just pull it out of the bag and they sew. And really, it's just like totally haphazard. Sometimes in quilts, what people like to do is like separate darks from lights, but I actually don't see a ton of darks and light. I guess I do. Like, here's a dark, I guess here's a medium, and here's a light. But I don't think there's so much of a difference that I need to worry about that too much, as long as I kind of scatter everything around. So that's the thing. The cool thing about scrappy quilts is, like, yeah, everything is and looks very unplanned, and that's true to an extent, but I believe that it'll be okay if I don't if I don't plan anything. We'll see what happens. Sorry, I've got allergies, and you would think that with winter and everything being frozen outside that I wouldn't have any issues, but I think I think I'm allergic to pretty much everything. Indoors, outdoors, whatever. So yeah, my voice isn't all that great. Okay. When I cut this, like, some of these have curved edges, and I'm gonna trim them up just a little bit, but my plan is to add stitching to this in the end. So I think when I do add stitching, a lot of this is gonna get covered up, and I am gonna just overlap slightly. The grid paper is gonna help me line stuff up a little bit, but I'm not gonna be too concerned about that, you know, because I'm looking for a very haphazard type of look, and I don't want to be too concerned about it. Here's the thing, when I do stitching on top of this, it's gonna make it look even more like scrappy and kind of like a tattered edge, kind of like, okay, like this, where I don't even have these edges completely glued down and they're fraying a little bit, and I love that look. I actually love that look in quilts too. Have you ever seen a quilt like that, where the top, like the raw edges are on the top of the quilt, and you can cut them up and fray them, and the more you wash that quilt, the more frayed it gets. It's just so fun. Becomes like a chenille? I think chenille is what I'm trying to say. And it just leaves like a ton of fluff in your dryer, but it's fun. It's worth it. Wow, I thought I had a lot of these, but now that I'm starting to glue them down, it doesn't look like I have enough. Does it? This is going to be interesting because if I run out, I don't want to run out like midway through and have half of it be these papers and the other half be something else. So am I going to have to lay this out just to double check? I think possibly I am. Okay. Oh, this is really hard to pick up with my short nails. Okay. So I'm trying to stagger the short pieces and the long pieces and all of that too. If I were actually making a quilt, I probably would like stitch all of these in one long row. Maybe I should do that. And then just cut it to, should I do it like that? Is it too late? I think it's too late. Darn. There's so much green. Okay, yeah, you know what? Maybe it's too late, but maybe it's not. Because I need more. I need more. Maybe I just have to use these pieces too, and then it'll work out. That one, it'll be kind of odd with it being diagonal. This one's not going to be too big a deal. Let's see. It always takes more fabric than you realize. It takes more paper or fabric or whatever it is you're using. It's just always, there's always more than you think there's gonna be. All right, this is gonna work out. Okay, I can do it. Yep, and I have this weird sideways one. I have a few of these things. Yeah, okay, it'll be fine. I can do this. Started to panic a little bit. This is what happens every time I do anything, whether it's on camera or not. I start something and then I panic, like somewhere halfway through or at some point I'm like, oh no, I don't think it's gonna work out. That's why I was gonna try to do a prototype, but just wasn't, my brain was not functioning well enough for that. Okay. Yeah. If I could find the perfect piece that fits, I would rather do that. So, while I'm just gluing and cutting, this is like the easiest thing ever. I hope that this is so easy that you will do it, but maybe it doesn't make for the most interesting video. But I'll tell you a story. This is what I used to do when I used to teach. I'd be like, I know, I realized that today's chemistry lesson is super boring, and now you have to sit through the rest of the class and work on your examples. But let me tell you a story. So I want to tell you a story about my Christmas tree. It's not really a story. It's just, let me tell you about my Christmas tree this year. All right. So we have this enormous Christmas tree that my husband and I got when we were first married and got our first, was it our first house? No, it was, I think when we bought our second house, we got like the biggest tree, like the tallest tree that we could possibly get to fit inside of our house. So it's like 8 feet or 10 feet. I think it's 10 feet. I think it's like 10-foot tall tree. Okay. And that was okay for a couple of the houses. Like we've bought and sold like 4 houses. I think we're on our 4th one. And one of the houses had like a 2-story entryway where it just like went up all the way to the top of the 2nd floor, basically. So it was extremely, extremely high ceilings. And the tree looked great there, right? Because you just need something really tall for a space like that. But then there were a couple other houses where we're like, well, it is high ceilings, but it's not like quite that high. So every once in a while, like sometimes we'd have to bend the top of the tree, or we'd have to take the star off and put something else there. So we made it work, but it's such a hassle to put up and take down that even though it fits in the house that we're in now, it's just become too much. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not fun anymore. when I have to like wrestle the tree out, and we've got so the thing about the tree is like you can't just take it out of the box and just put it up. You've gotta like take every single branch and position it where you want it. You have to like spread all the needles out. And at some point, I realized that when I did that, it was like poking into my hands. And it was, I mean, maybe you can even see like kind of have age spots or whatever where it had given me a rash. And yeah, because like I said, I'm allergic to everything, even apparently fake Christmas trees. So it was just really bad for my hands. I would put on gloves and I would help with getting the needles all spread out and everything, and we'd climb on a ladder and get the whole thing. Anyway, it got to be too much. And the last couple of years, we decided not to put it up. Partly, we started not putting it up when we were on vacation during Christmas, and we were like, we can't just leave it up. The cat will eat it. Oh, yeah. So then also we have this cat who likes to eat fake Christmas tree needles. Fake. So he's just eating plastic and then he just throws it up. So that's another reason. It's like, do we want to go through all that trouble just to be cleaning up cat puke and all that? Okay, anyway, so now you know, it's just been a hassle. My kids aren't helping with the tree anymore. They're like, we'd like to have the tree up, but we don't really want to help you put it up or take it down, blah, blah, blah. This year, I decided to bring my, that fiddlehead fig tree that I used to have outside. If you watch my Instagram reels, you might have seen it on Instagram where I was using it as like a drying rack for my for my eco printing things. And I decided, so I bring that in every year anyway, and I decided that is gonna be my Christmas tree this year. It is gonna be my dreaming of a warmer Christmas. I'm gonna say dreaming of a Caribbean Christmas because, or like Hawaiian Christmas, because there are some years that we went to Hawaii for Christmas. And this year in March, we're gonna go on a cruise in the Caribbean with my parents and my brother. And so that's why I say Caribbean, but it's super cute just having, I don't know if you live somewhere like in Florida or somewhere warmer where you don't have a lot of evergreen trees, pine trees, they decorate palm trees. And I think that is like the cutest thing ever. So I was like, I'm gonna decorate my fiddlehead fig tree to look like a palm tree. So we literally put up one tiny string of lights on it, and it's really cute. I'll have to show it, I guess. It'll probably go on like one of my Instagram stories or something at some point, but I'm really happy with it. And it just like, it took a couple of hours for us to move it over there. Yeah, so that's what we're doing for our Christmas tree this year. I just feel like it was such a brilliant idea because super easy. It's something that I wanted to do anyway. I wanted to move my fiddlehead fig tree to our main area, and I had asked for a grow light, like a plant light for Christmas. I'm hoping that I get it early from whoever, my husband, from my husband. So for the last few days, I've been like, so my tree could use a little more light over here. I'm not sure if it's gonna make it till Christmas. If there's any sort of lighting that anybody might have, it might be useful for me to have it now, but I haven't gotten that gift early for some reason. I don't know if maybe I just have to do more than hint at some point. But that tree, I am going to, have you ever heard of like chopping your trees so that it grows, it gets like leafier and bushier? That's what I'm gonna do next summer. I decided it's like too leggy, and it's great to use as a drying rack or a clothesline. Maybe that's the better term for it, a clothesline, because it is so, the the branches are bare, and I think I'm gonna cut this. And the leaves, like, they just keep falling off toward the middle of the tree, and so it's only growing on the very outer edges of the tree. And I put it under my front porch in the summer, but it's getting to where it doesn't have a lot more room to grow because it's just too tall now. It just keeps growing like longer and longer, and then leaves only here and here, and no leaves in the middle. Just like a clothesline would be. Like nothing in the middle. So yeah, it's useful as a clothesline, but I would like for it to like be an actual tree. And then maybe I could just string on that and attach it to my front porch or something like that, so that I can still have some sort of a clothesline. Okay, that will work over here on this side. I'm almost done. So anyway, that's my Christmas story. Oh, I like the dots here, so I'm gonna glue the dot part on. that's my Christmas tree story. I like the idea, so I hope it works out this year, and then it'll be our tradition just to use that tree. Or I have a lot of monstera. What do you call it? Like a monstrosity. Monstera monstrosity. Because my monstera plant is getting enormous. And I have 2 of them. I just bought them at my local grocery store, and they have just like taken off. I don't really know. It's weird because it's not like I live anywhere where we get a ton of sunlight, and it's not warm, but they just love whatever I'm doing. And I think next year that might be a good option for a Christmas tree. Okay, does this work? I think so. Just put some lights on any sort of plant that's fairly large, and I think you can just call it a tree, right? And then ornaments, and a few ornaments. Okay, let's trim this down, and then I'm going to put it through my sewing machine and see how that looks. It's already snowed a ton here, and I'm really looking forward to spring already. It's already getting so cold because Minnesota it's every winter it's like this. But one of the things that has been helping to get me through the days is doing this, working on my winter journal and looking out the window at all the snow. It just snowed so much the other day that it was like 8 inches in 24 hours. And then it kept snowing after that too. I just stopped looking to see how much it had snowed. It snowed so much, and the snow was like so fluffy and slick that I had to like drive my car off the road into a snowbank because it was sliding and it would not stop. I was just like, I was not following anyone really closely. I was going slow, but I think my tires were really bad. So I had to like bail out and go into the ditch, and the snow was piled up like 3 feet there, and luckily it was soft enough that my car was able to just like bloop, go over the hill. And then I mean, that stopped me, and then I was able to just whoop, go back in into traffic, and I was like, yep, nothing to see here, nothing happened. I drive a little Ford Escape, which I love, but it's all-wheel drive, so I'm so glad I had that. But also, I need new tires. I gotta remember to like check my tires closely in the winter, because it just was time. I should have. I don't think I replaced it because it doesn't actually need to be replaced. However, when you're driving in like deep snow, it's just not going to do very well. If it were summer, it would have been fine, but yeah, I'm gonna get them replaced this week and hope that works. That fixes that situation, and I can be a little bit safer. Oh, I love that. Okay, so a lot of quilts like have a little border around them, so I don't know. I might just draw it because it's so thin. I don't know if I'll be able to. Oh, you know what? I do have. So when I make these, when I print them out. Okay, what am I trying to say here? Let me grab all my papers out again. Not this one. Okay, so what I was saying is when I print these out, I always print them out on sticker paper. And they always print with this border. So I think what I'll do is I'll trim off this border and then I can use that as a border for my quilt. And, oh, here, I'll just use this. So these are, I wish I wouldn't have used so much so you could see what they had looked like, but these are the printables from Jessie Peterson. I'm just in love with the colors of these. They're Christmassy, but they're not like primary red and primary green. Okay, let's see. That might be a little bit too thick. Let's try it again. What is that, 1/4? Let's do less than 1/4. Oh, okay. Wait, where's the rest? Here it is. It's confusing. Okay. So, let's just do that. Okay, now I'm going to stitch all over this and make it look like it's quilted with my sewing machine and some thread. I'll be right back after I do that. All right, I love how this turned out. Not sure which side is the top and which side's the bottom, but it doesn't matter. I have a few threads sticking out, but I kind of love that. I like to use 100% cotton thread because it is very, like, pliable, I guess is the word. It's not like stiff, it kind of curls and bends, and I just like the look of thread like that. So I use 100% cotton thread, and I found some pre-wound bobbin thread that is also 100% cotton. If you are ever in need of that, pre-wound bobbins are amazing, but to get them in 100% cotton I thought was awesome too, because I just prefer that thread. I went around the outside, so I did a border, and then I just did like some crazy stitching all around the inside to make it look quilted, because, you know, if it were a real quilt made of fabric, that's what you would do to keep the front and the back together. And then there would be a middle part, which is, you know, you make a sandwich basically. I should have, oh man. I guess I still could put something here in the back and make it kind of puffy, but you know, it's okay. My books always seem to get pretty thick, and so that's okay. I definitely don't need to be adding to the bulk. Okay, here's the dilemma I have though. I have these cute little people who I think would be really cute, like kids that are asleep under the quilt waiting for Christmas morning. However, I feel like they are not gonna fit in here the way I want them to. So, well, I guess they are wearing mittens. That's okay. That's like, maybe they're in Minnesota. Maybe they live in Minnesota and it's too freaking cold to sleep without mittens, even when you're indoors. That, you know, I mean, there are people that like to keep their houses like fairly cold, like way colder than I would like. And then there's, of course, like some rooms in our house, just the window like literally has ice on the inside because it just gets so cold, and there's not really anything I can do about that. We've got the heat on and everything, but it's just really cold. And even if the room is warm, the windows still get iced. Okay, so those hats are sticking up a little bit more than what I would like. 'Cause, yeah, sometimes it's cute to have stuff sticking out the top, but this is, I don't think that's what I want. So let's figure out a solution. One solution is to make the quilt smaller. I could just, I mean, there's it's a straight line there, so it folds quite easily. So that's solution A. Option A. Oh, that's actually really cute. Okay, option B is to chop off their hats. Is there a way I can pretend to chop off the hat and but not really do it and see how it looks? Like, let's use a piece of paper here and say, like, I could round them off, right? So they could just be wearing smaller hats. Then I'd have more of the actual quilt, because, you know, that's like, that's the prompt, is the quilt. All right, you guys are gonna get a hat trim. It'll be cute. You'll be all right. Okay, we're just gonna do it. Are we gonna make them pointy? Oh. Okay, we'll figure it out as we go. Sorry. Maybe just like that. Let me see if I can make this one kind of pointy. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, this one has a pointy one, and this one is not. Oh, this one's head looks a lot smaller. That's okay. You know what? You're the baby. That's the baby. And I'm gonna trim this even more. It's just one of those beanie hats, right? I should put a really big pom-pom or a palm. If it's just one palm, is it called a palm? Or are they all pom-poms? All right, how do I make a pom-pom that's gonna fit that? I don't know. I think I just wanna draw it. have these Posca, they're called Una Posca pencils. And they work really well for this kind of thing. Let's see if I can get a good color match. I think this is the closest, maybe. I just need a tiny little something right there, but okay, let's cut something out of this. Ooh, let's cut one leaf. One leaf and one berry. This is why I just keep all the scraps on the table. You know, it's kind of a mess and I run out of space a lot of times, but if I just need to figure something out, it's usually just laying right there on the table. Oh, yeah, like that, because I don't want it to be sticking up even more. Oh, perfect. So, kind of like that. Okay. Let's do one for that kid over there. Oh, here, look. Look at this. I don't have to choose from that tiny little scrap of paper. Let's do, that one's kind of fun. Let's do this one. Okay, maybe this one's gonna go on this kid. There you go. Everyone gets a holly. Nope, we can't have it sticking up. Defeats the whole point. There, okay, that's what's gonna happen. So let's tuck them in. We're gonna make a pocket out of this. I'm just gonna glue it down on the sides. Just let these kids hang off the edge like that. Add a little glue to the sides. Oh, my glue's not coming out. It's so dry here. It's that time of the year where it's just extremely cold and extremely dry and everything dries up. So I have to unclog all my glue. I have to rub the glue stick onto my paper a million times. Get a nice thick layer. Work fast when I'm using my watercolor. I don't know if that's like a typical thing where everyone has to adjust to the weather all the time. All my art supplies I have 2 ways of using them based on if it's winter or if it's summer, because the summer gets extremely humid here. So odd. I'm used to living in Colorado. I grew up in Colorado. And it's just dry there all the time. There's never a time when it's like humid. Well, maybe in July it's just very, very hot. You can't call it humid. No, actually it's not humid at all. I'm pretty sure it's just like, it's the desert. It's not even the eastern part of Colorado where I grew up either. It's in the foothills, but it is super dry all the time. You don't even have to like use a towel after you get done in the shower. You just like air dry in 5 minutes. So crazy. But of course, you know, like my skin was allergic to being dry, so I always had to put lotion on. Told you I was allergic to everything. Okay, 25. Right? I think I want to put it on this side. Aw, they can be holding hands, waiting for Christmas. Should I put faces on these? You know, I think I'm just gonna not have... Oh, let go. Okay, I'm gonna try it out right here. What do you think of that? No, it just blends in too much. Okay. Yeah, I like it right there. Okay. Scoot over. Oh, should they get pillows? Nah. All right, I think I can call it done. I'm happy with how this turned out. Super cute. I love the quilt. So I'm actually, like, the best thing about this is that I got to use up the rest of those scraps from those 2 pages of letters because I have had those for years. Like, I want to say over 10 years. It could have even be 15 years. And I have been looking to use up those scraps for a long time. In fact, it's actually, is it this? I think some of that paper is in here. Maybe not. I think that was, oh, here, this. So I used the rest of that pack of papers in here, and then I got to finish up by using the letters. So that makes me really, really happy when I can use up all of my papers. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining me on the 25th for the prompt Christmas quilt, Christmas paper quilt. Christmas paper quilt. And thanks for joining in. If you haven't done, you know, the first part of this, you've always got time to go back. I always do like after the fact journaling because I just never have time or never think about it until afterwards, and then I'll just go back and do all the things. So it's not too late if you haven't started yet. And if you have started, then I hope you're enjoying the Winter Journal Challenge. Thanks again, Kia, for inviting me along. And Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. All right, bye.